Hi everyone, bonjour à tous. I'm Minister Gould, Canada's Minister of Families, Children and Social Development. 2 years ago today, we signed the first Canada-wide early learning and childcare agreement. It was the start of a journey to bring fees for regulated childcare down to $10 a day on average and create 250,000 new regulated childcare spaces by 2026. We know this is a subject that matters to Canadians. So today, I'm answering some of the most searched questions about childcare in Canada. Is childcare available in Canada? Well, the answer is yes, but of course there's always room for improvement. That's why in Budget 2021, we committed $30 billion over 5 years to create a Canada-wide early learning and childcare system. Family I spoke to in Winnipeg who had twins, and they were having such a difficult time finding a childcare center that could take both of their twins at the same time. It's families like that and families across the country that we're looking to help and that we're looking to ensure every child has access to care in Canada. You know, I've spoken to parents everywhere in Canada who've had challenges. They've been on wait lists and, worried about accessing childcare. Of course, the fee reductions are really important, but making sure that you have a space that is safe, that your child is well cared for is really important. Is childcare tax deductible in Canada? Well, in many cases, the answer is yes. The best place for information on all things tax related, including available deductions, is canada.ca/taxes. OK, la prochaine question, on va répondre à une question en français. Quelle est la réglementation sur les services de garde? Une excellente question. Au Canada, les provinces et les territoires sont responsables pour la réglementation des services de garde, mais nous travaillons ensemble pour améliorer l'accès aux services d'apprentissage et de garde d'enfants de grande qualité, abordables, sup et inclusifs. On sait que les jeunes enfants de la période de 0 à 4, c'est un des temps les plus importants dans le développement des personnes. Alors, assurant la qualité des services de garde est extrêmement important pour nous comme gouvernement fédéral. Is childcare expensive in Canada? What a good question. And I understand why parents were looking at it because honestly, the answer before we brought in the Canada-wide early learning and child agreements was yes. It's one of the reasons why we have the objective of moving towards an average of $10 a day for regulated childcare by March 2026. And in fact, almost half of provinces have already achieved this goal. All other provinces have reduced fees for regulated childcare by 50% on average or more. And these fee reductions are saving parents in Ontario, for example, up to $8,500 per child per year. And in Newfoundland and Labrador, where fees are an average of $10 a day, parents are saving up to $6,300 a year per child. I've heard stories from parents across this country who have said that these fee reductions have been life-changing for them. In every province and territory that I've traveled to, I've met parents, particularly moms, who've told me that because of the childcare fee reductions, they've been able to afford putting their child in childcare. And that means they've been able to afford to go back to work. And so we're talking about, economic autonomy for women. We're talking about better, household economies in general. I've heard from parents who've said because of these fee reductions, they're actually thinking about having another child because before it just didn't make economic sense to them. I've heard stories of families who are talking about these childcare fee reductions, and it means when they go to the grocery store, they're less worried about buying chicken. These fee reductions are incredibly meaningful for families, and they're making a difference when the cost of living is really high right now. Quelle est l'importance de l'apprentissage des jeunes enfants? Nous savons que pour les jeunes enfants qui participent régulièrement à des programmes d'éducation à la petite enfance, ont un plus haut taux de diplomation, ont de meilleures notes et habitudes de travail, ont soif d'apprendre, développent de plus grandes attitudes sociales, acquièrent de plus grandes habiletés en lecture et en mathématiques et prennent des meilleures décisions. Alors, merci tout le monde pour participer aujourd'hui. It's great to see what the top questions are for Canadians when it comes to childcare. This is one of the top priorities for the Government of Canada. We're building more spaces, we're supporting early childhood educators. We know that childcare is important for our economy, we know it's important for our society, but most important, we know it's important for our kids.